Morning, Ali. Good to see you again.
How you doing, Carl? Nice to see you.
I'm really well, thank you. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's probably on the minds of lots of parents and probably lots of children as well, because we're heading out of the summer holidays. They're coming to an end, children heading back to school, and it probably is normal for children to start feeling anxious about going back to school. I say probably because I don't know if it's normal for all children to feel nervous or anxious going back to school. But let's focus on those that are for a moment and say, what are the normal things that kids worry about when they go back?
It's a myriad of things. It depends what going back means. If they're going back to something they know and love, then there's not a lot of anxiety. If something's changed, it's transition, they've gone up a year, they've got a different teacher, they're in a different group, maybe they've moved over the summer break and they're going into a new school. That's all new. And all of us, anything new, we're a little bit, we don't know what to do. We haven't got it pre-programmed how this is going to pan out. So then we pre-program it. And as I think I've said before, what our brain does to protect us, it never goes, oh, it's going to be fantastic. You're going to have the best teacher. It's going to let you play all day. No French, no, right? Any of those lessons you don't want to do. Um, it never does that. What it does is says, oh, you're going to be in this class where you don't know anyone, and the teacher's going to be very shouty, and that's what our brain does. And the reason that it does it, whether it's going back to school or anything new for any of us, not just kids, is so that if we're ready for the worst outcome, whatever happens, we can cope with. There's a
Yeah.
lovely saying, isn't it? Fear the worst because it won't be as bad or it won't happen. So
So, as a parent, do you kind of prepare a child for the worst? Because it feels counterintuitive. As a parent, you kind
no,
of
you
go in,
don't.
it'll be all right, everything will be fine, don't worry about it. Whereas what you're suggesting is that the parent kind of models the child, if you like, on expecting something that they might not be facing.
I would highly recommend a child doesn't say, oh my God, it's going to be awful or anything like that. So don't prep them for it to be negative. But just be mindful that anything new, whether it going back to school, anything at all, is a little bit scary. But it's less scary if the people that you depend on around you are very, not nonchalant about it, but very, oh, this will be great. Oh, I wonder what you learn this time. And they're very kids can read us. They have a sixth sense. So you can say, it will be wonderful. I'm sure you'll love school.
That's not what your
they'll,
face is saying, Ali. Is that what you
it,
mean?
exactly. You face your whole body in. And if you think about it, when children are born, they don't understand language. So they're really, really good at picking up on the slightest, or it'll be fine, honest.
I mean,
So
that's
as a
really
parent, just
interesting,
be,
isn't it?
hey, look, I know it's new. We've done new things before. Let's see how it goes, all right? I'm here. You
So
know I am.
it's kind of normalizing it. And I
Yeah,
interrupted a
completely.
really important statement there at the end, I think, which is reminding the child that you're there if they need them.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, if they need them. And then you get into this realm of, the attachment issues and the child going, well, I need you, I'm not going. The more
Mm.
the parent is, it's okay, I'll be here, I'll pick you up at such and such. And tonight we're going to do this, this, and this, and this. As long as the parent, whether we're talking about going back to school or anything else going on in their world, parent, the significant adult, whatever you want to call it, as long as we do a really good job, the swan, and I mean a really good job because believe me, kids will see how many times it's going to be all right. Subconsciously, we're giving away a completely different message. So you have to get really, really good at being mindful of not just the words you're using, but the words you're expressing subconsciously, because a child will spot it. They're brilliant at it. It takes forever to train a therapist to do it. Kids can do it like that
And it's exactly why you're so good at what you do, I would
because I'm a
imagine,
kid.
because
Oh,
your face, whatever you're feeling, I'd imagine your face and your body language and everything around you tells a different story, and that's what you're suggesting children pick up on, which is
just
you
the
can say
same
what you
way.
like, but if you're looking at around or looking for answers, so be prepared around what it is you're going to say, normalize it, and make sure that the child's got something to look forward to, that they're thinking about other things. Is that what you're
It's
saying?
just another day. It's not this big scary thing. And the other thing that I think all of us as adults need to be aware of, and I see it all the time. I had a case yesterday, quite literally, of quite a traumatic event this child had to face. Only a young fella. And Mum asked me to speak to him, terrified that he isn't reacting the way he should because it's quite traumatic. He's not upset, he's not this, he's not that, he's not that. And she's really worried there's something wrong. Well, no, that's how you'd react. And we need to be very mindful as adults that we get hijacked. So we see a situation, certainly if it's involving our kids, because we're so protective and damn right, yeah. And we'll go, oh my God, that happened to me and this happened, or I've seen that and this happened, and off we go. And that will send our brain off catastrophizing, if you like. And
Yeah.
we're not going to be able to hide that from little. Of course, it'll be lovely at school today. I know it's a new teacher. Oh my God, my new teacher was horrible. She really was rotten to me. You're not going to be able to hide it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, keep it normal, keep it light, and don't allow yourself to be hijacked by your fears and not necessarily the child, but you can project them.
You've sort of led me into a question that I was going to ask then, which was, do we as parents worry more than the child to some degree? And are we passing that worry on to them? So we're kind of preempting the anxiety and making them nervous because of that.
Do you know, with all things, I'd never tell anyone how to parent or how to be because it's so individual. But we do it. We do. It's an instinctive survival issue in us. The only reason we retain any information is so we can use that information to keep ourselves safe. So if we've had a bad experience going back to school, different teacher, different classroom, we're gonna have this little voice in our head go, "Oh, please don't let that happen to them. Please don't. That was awful. It was so traumatic." And that little voice is going to project, no matter how sweetly you smile at little Thomas and go, no, he'll be fine.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. So I suppose we've got a couple of things here, haven't we? We've got a child that is naturally anxious, that's worrying about what's facing them, particularly if it's a different school, new
Yep.
routine, all of those kind of things, having to become a bit more kind of grown up, take those responsibilities. And because of that, the parent takes on some of that anxiety and tries to overcompensate for the child. It'll be all right, but the face saying something different.
But even
But
if
what
they
we're not
overcompensate, the child could pick up on that. You're being different. Why are you being different?
exactly.
We do with our
Yeah.
partners, don't we? You're being really nice. What have you done? It's that kind of thing, yeah?
It's like you're living in my house. The What we're not accounting for, though, is the children that don't say anything. That actually, and I see this with friends' children, where the child is saying, "I'm fine," and the parents are going, "You excited about school?" And they say, "Yeah, yeah, really looking forward to it." And they're saying all these things, but actually they might not be. Now, obviously they might be. So I don't want to kind of assume that
Mhm.
children, if they're saying they're okay, they're not. But what I'm asking is, what should a parent, a guardian, the person that's responsible for those children, what should they be looking out for? What are the signals that maybe they're not coping quite as well?
101. Okay, there are hundreds of books on child psychology and different levels of learning and what to expect from your child at a different point, which makes us worry our kid isn't achieving. The bottom line is every child is so damn unique, and the only person that will know if there's something slightly different about the way they're responding to a situation is their immediate carers, because they're the only ones that know. And if the books don't exist because they haven't written them yet, so you will know. Normally they're doing something, they're like, yeah, yeah, no, that's fantastic, let's go. And the next minute, yeah, no, I'm fine about going to school. That's different. It doesn't mean there's something wrong, but it's different. And I think what we all have to do is just notice it, those little differences. When you're doing something on holiday, I know, going and playing football with your mates, yeah, yeah, going into school. You good for going into school? Yeah, I'm fine. There's a difference, tone, pitch, pace. So as much as the children are picking up on what we're verbalizing, which is only 10% of how we communicate, but also what we're saying subconsciously with body language and tone and pitch, we need to do the same. And the best one to do that has that baseline, if you like, is their immediate carer, parent, whoever. Just, oh, that's interesting. He's saying he's okay, but when he's excited or he's really okay, he normally does that or this. This is slightly different. Doesn't mean there's something major wrong, but watch. Just watch. And if your child's not talking to you, then reach out because they'll probably talk to one of us. That's what we're trained to do, just to check out there's nothing underlying going on there, not just having a bad day.
And so a parent could do that. Could they reach out to you
Yeah,
personally or as
completely.
an organization?
That's why we exist. Yeah, our whole thing is working with the whole family. But and I guess everybody that's ever joined and trained with me has a story. We all have a story of how we wish our childhoods had been different. And that's not necessarily about the people in them. We can't change that. But it's about the emotion and the beliefs we attached that created the human beings that we went on to be. And there's always that bit that you wish didn't happen, and then you kind of find your way. So our thing has always been to get to children as young as possible and give them the tools to say, not, I'm feeling a little bit down today. I think I have attachment issues because I'm going into a new classroom. No, not that, but just to say, this doesn't make me happy. This makes me angry. Because the little is, they can do happy, angry, sad. They can probably name 3 or 4 emotions. They can exhibit hundreds, but they can only name 3 or 4 because that's all we've taught them. And the other silly thing we do is this is happy, smiley face, this is sad. And again, they're learning from us. They relate to that. And they're like, well, I don't know. I must be sad because my face is doing that. It's not necessary. Again, just watch. And our expertise is getting to the kids before there's an issue. Give them the tools to understand what an emotion is and that you can control it. And that's why we use superpowers. We make emotions tiny little things that the children have to help. You're not scared of going into school today. Scared is. How can we help scared? What have you done different that you hadn't done before? I know, you went and joined the football team. You were scared then, weren't you? But what did you do? I used brave. Hey, shall we get... That's what we do. We make it tangible. We give them the tools and the ability to take back control. Because we only have fear of any situation if we're not in control.
Brilliant. Ali, I'm hoping that whoever does the clever editing of this will be able to put the contact details all over the screen right now,
Yeah,
because
reach out. We're here. That's what we do.
you people should do that. You know, it's when my kids were younger, and they're not now, but when they were younger, to have had the ability or the option to speak to somebody like you and just ask for advice. Am I doing things right? Am I doing things wrong? And inevitably, parents are doing much better than they think they are.
Oh,
But
all the way. Do you know the other thing, and I know these aren't sales promotion things, but reach out to a therapist. But if you don't want to, and do you know, I actually encourage people not to unless they really need to. You're what your child needs, not a damn therapist. But I wrote the books in the beginning before we had loads of Ollie coaches, so that parents could read them with the children, because you can read them at any level and learn some stuff yourself. But take from the books how to introduce the concept of emotions and have those conversations. So there's lots of ways of helping your child, but the ultimate person to help them is their parent, not a stranger.
Ali, thank you so much again. Brilliant as always.
Thank you. It's good to see you.